Pow! I'm in the building. It is your boy Truth It, Truth It in the AM, and we are talking about Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day to you if you really are misinformed about who Columbus was and you were celebrating this holiday. I don't understand why anyone in their right mind would be celebrating this holiday, but I love everybody, so whatever. Diversity on display for Columbus Day parade in Worcester. That was the headline in the Telegram today, as yesterday they held their yearly Columbus Day parade. The good ladies of Mount Carmel Apartments know where to sit for the Columbus Day parade in the rain. You know it, exclaimed Catherine Fanian, 91, who, with two friends from the housing complex for the elderly, had staked out a dry vantage point for Sunday inside the plexiglass bus stop shelter at the end of the parade route on Shrewsbury Street. They attend the parade every year, and they're 91, and they're Italian. I'm Italian, so I got to be there for the Italians. I don't understand why the Italians have to be there for the Italians because of what this particular Italian did in the history of this country. First off, I'll get to that in a minute. They talk about in the article other women who attended the Columbus Day parade. Miss Lavelle noted that the three had a group in this year's parade, the Mount Carmel Preservation Society, dedicated to saving the shuttered out Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church. All three are members. We've got to cheer them on. It's amazing to me how how someone can really do an injustice and be for a holiday of a man who's done such disgusting thing. And it's not even debatable if he was a good man or not. He himself recorded the things that he did, from raping women, from trying to sleep with a woman, and after a woman used her nails, and this is his describing it, using her nails to scratch him, he got a flog, and he flogged her, or he whipped her with a rope. These are the things that Mr. Columbus did as a person, and yet he is treated like a hero in this country. And they still have not had enough sense to change the name of the holiday to maybe Indigenous People Day or something that's really fitting for Columbus Day. They decided instead to keep it Columbus Day, and people are proud of it being Columbus Day. I don't get it. I don't get the thought process behind it. And not only do I not get the thought process behind it, the article says it celebrated diversity. How could it celebrate diversity when you have a man who did such despicable things to people of other diverse populations? They talk about in the article Mount Carmel so much that I don't understand the part where they're talking about anything else, or the diversity in the article at least. Rainy weather kept the number of spectators down for the annual parade down Shrewsbury Street in the heart of Worcester's Italian-American neighborhood, but those who turned out marched and were in a festive mood. The Worcester Metasong, a barbershop harmony group, sang 76 trombones from a flag-bedecked float. Marching bands from Douglas and South High and Millbury played patriotic songs. Probably no hireling a slave can escape the grave, as is in the Star-Spangled Banner's third stanza. There were other Worcester Diversity's group was on display as Italian-American Parade marched through O'Leary Square, the Millbury High Band playing America the Beautiful. An Asian woman and her toddler watched through the window of pompous Brazilian steakhouse. I guess since one Asian woman was there, this benefits it being a definite diverse crowd. This is whitewashing, basically. This is what we call whitewashing, where you ignore history and put yourself in a positive light. This is definite case of even whitewashing in the telegram. An Asian woman and her toddler watched through the window of a steakhouse, and a counter hand leaned out of the back door of Miranda Bread, a Brazilian bakery, to capture the scene on her cell phone camera. By Cristoforo Colombo Park, children sat in the open hatch of an SUV as if they were at a drive-in picture, waving flags and enjoying a front row seat for candy dispensed by marchers. Christina Pidone of West Boylston brought the children to cheer on her son, Louis Kokokulis, a 10th grader, marching with North High Junior ROTC. Asked her favorite part of the parade, the children, Josephine Pidone, 9, and Sophia Pidone, 10, of West Boylston, Zoe Brooks, 3, of Worcester, and Avante Earl, 5, of Worcester, shouted, "Getting candy." Yes. I wonder what candy the natives got when Columbus landed on Plymouth. He didn't even land on Plymouth Rock when Columbus landed here. But this is definitely a whitewashing article. The article claims diversity, but it was one Asian woman who came, and the rest were white people. But I guess that is a show of diversity. Shame on even the Telegram for writing an article such as this one. So here's my take on it. Columbus Day Parade, no one showed up. Now, whether it was because of the rain or because of people knowing who Columbus really was, I am happy that the turnout sucked for the parade, and I hope next year the turnout stinks. And if it requires for it to be raining, then by God, I hope it rains. Christopher Columbus Parade was had in Worcester. Naturally, one of the places that has not yet decided to name the holiday Indigenous People Day. And why would we expect Worcester to acknowledge Columbus' brutal racist past? Racism is the name of the game in Worcester. We just had a city councilor equate nonprofits, social service agencies, and tax-exempt institutions to minorities. I kid you not. You look up Connie Lukes and her at the last meeting, city council meeting, and she had the nerve to say, there's not a lot of minorities in Auburn, so tax-exempt and other things won't be identified as they're identified in Worcester. Nonprofits, social service agencies, and tax-exempt institutions cannot be identified like they are in Worcester. When there are countless nonprofits that are controlled by white people in Worcester, UMass Medical Center is a nonprofit in Worcester, and yet Connie Lukes can only equate nonprofits to minorities. But that's a lecture for another segment at another time. Christopher Columbus, however, first of all, did you guys know that Christopher Columbus never landed in the 48 states, which is the heart of America, the mainland of the country? He never landed foot in any state. He didn't land in Virginia. He didn't land in Massachusetts. He didn't land in Pennsylvania. He didn't land in Florida. He didn't land in any of the 48 states mainland in the country. Secondly, Columbus was a vile, sickening, greedy, bloodthirsty rapist. Poor excuse for a man who said things like, while I was in a boat, I captured a very beautiful Carib woman whom the said Lord Admiral gave to me. So they already had slaves. The Admiral gave this woman to Christopher Columbus, and with whom, having taken her into my cabin, she being naked according to their custom, I conceived desire to take pleasure. I wanted to put my desire into execution, but she did not want it and treated me with her fingernails in such a manner that I wished I had never begun. But seeing that, to tell you the end of it all, I took a rope and thrashed her well, for which she raised such an unheard of screams that you would not have believed your ears. Finally, we came to an agreement in such manner that I can tell you that she seemed to have been brought up in a school of harlots. So what he basically said was this woman wanted nothing to do with him sexually, so he beat her with a whip until she gladly gave him what he desired. This is the sickening, disgusting man that we are celebrating on today's holiday. This is the disgusting man that we're celebrating on this holiday. And this is the man we celebrate yearly in Massachusetts and mostly around the country. The whitewash history is sickening indeed. And it makes me sick that we celebrate this man who never discovered anything. Which goes to show how we demonize black people historically unless they became yes men, with the exception of two black men, Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King. And what's worse was they were actually hated when they were alive and actually making history. Wasn't until they were either dead or old and decrepit that they decided to betray that whitewashed history decided to treat them like heroes. They treated Muhammad Ali like he was trash when he was actually boxing and actually refusing to go into the Vietnam War. And then once he got older and a former shell of himself, they treated him like a hero. They whitewashed his history. Same thing with Martin Luther King. They could not wait to assassinate that man. They could not wait to kill that man. They hated that man like I hate the Ku Klux Klan. And it wasn't until after he was dead that he was looked at as some kind of hero. I must say, though, kudos to California and any other similar state that voted to make October 9th today Indigenous People Day. Quite frankly, celebrating Columbus is like celebrating Satan himself, and shame on people who celebrate him. Who next should we celebrate? I was thinking of maybe let's celebrate Hitler Day, or a holiday for Saddam Hussein. What about that? Because Columbus was no better, if not worse, of a man than both of them. We as a country have been taking strides in not allowing the slave owners to be honored in this country as of late, even the Confederate ones who fought for slavery. Well, and Columbus enslaved Native people for gold. I repeat, he enslaved Native Americans for gold. I don't understand how anyone with any extensive history celebrates Columbus, and I don't know how anyone can celebrate a man that they don't know the extensive history of. So if all you have to do is you have to Google Columbus, should he be celebrated? And all kinds of articles will come out, or even Google Columbus transcripts of what he wrote himself. You don't have to read other people's words. You don't have to take my words for it. You can read the words that that man actually left for himself and make up your own mind as a sick piece of trash that Columbus was. He fed hunting dogs Native Americans. He fed hunting dogs native flesh to entice the dogs to hunt even more feverishly. This man fed humans to dogs. And this is a man we celebrate. Well, any place who celebrates him will do so without me. I want nothing to do with the celebration of Christopher Columbus. I'll have a sense of self-respect, and I'm glad that there were few people at the parade in Worcester. I hope a person will never celebrate this man ever again. That's my take on it. This has been your boy Truth It. Shame on the Telegram for writing that article talking about diversity, and shame on anybody else who buys into the crap that is Columbus Day. I bet not see people on my page, my Facebook page, saying Happy Columbus Day, or people gonna have to hear it from me and get an earful. This is your boy Truth It. Be right back.